So Rabbi Menachem Leibtag brings a tremendous chizkuni, who was a Rishon, 12th century, so that it was not the brothers who sold Yosef. And once you see this, then in fact, it's very hard to ever read the parsha again, thinking that it was the brothers who sold Yosef, right? So, and this goes as follows. So the brothers, Yosef then goes after the brothers. Dotan, where the brothers are, is elevated. So they saw him from afar because they're elevated up on Dosan. And when he had not yet approached them, and they conspired toward him to kill him. And one said to the other, "Look, that dreamer is coming." So now it's a Baal Hachlomos, so the master of dreams. It's so mocking. Yeah. So the dreamer is coming. So now come and let us kill him, and let us throw him into one of the pits, and we will say, "A wild beast devoured him," and we shall see what will become of his dreams. Reuven heard. Now Reuven, in last week's parsha, we said, has already made his error. So, and he's lost really his position as firstborn as a result. So by moving his father's bed, because he took it as an insult to his mother, that one of the maidservants would come in her stead. And so it's not that everybody agrees. It's not that Reuven actually had relations with his father's wife. Right? Not the case. The Gemara is very clear about that. But nonetheless, he was wrong to interfere in his father's marital affairs, and so he has suffered as a result and lost his position as the firstborn of all the brothers. So Reuven heard, and he rescued him from their hand. This is what the Torah says. So because as we're going to see, each one of the brothers that fails is also given a chance to redeem himself. And here is Reuven's chance for redemption. And so he's looking for this. Reuven heard, and he rescued him from their hand. And Reuven said to them, "Do not shed blood. Throw him into this pit in the wilderness, but send no hand against him." And then the Torah says, parenthetically, in order to rescue him from their hand, to return him to his father. Because the Torah is telling us what Reuven is really thinking. And it was when Yosef came to his brothers, they stripped Yosef of his tunic, the fine woolen tunic that was on him. Then they took him and cast him into the pit, and the pit was empty. No water was in it. So the pit was empty, no water was in it.
Were there snakes?
There were snakes. That's what the repetition is teaching us, says Rashi. So the brothers sat to eat food. Now, here is the one assumption that we have to make. Are the brothers going to sit next to this pit where they've thrown their brother who is screaming because there are snakes in this pit? Are they going to, and he's screaming bloody murder, right? So are they going to sit next to this pit and eat their food? No. So the brothers move a little bit away, and they're eating away from the pit. They raised their eyes, and they saw, behold, a caravan of Yishmaelim was coming from Gilead, and their camels were bearing spices and balsam and birthwort on their way to bring them down to Egypt. So, okay, the brothers, they see the Yishmaelim, a caravan of Yishmaelim, and they're on their way to Egypt. And Yehuda, who has already disgraced himself, and should be the secondborn. What is his bright idea here? What gain will there be if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelim, but let our hand not be upon him, for he is our brother, our own flesh. So Yehuda is trying, but clearly not quite reached the level that he needs to reach. But nonetheless, because of his input, Yosef is alive. And his brothers listened. And then it says, Veyavru anashim Midyanim. So Midianite men, traders, passed by. Midianite men. Not the Ishmaelim, Midianite men. It says right in there. And what do? They pulled and brought Yosef up from the pit and sold Yosef to the Ishmaelim for 20 pieces of silver. This is what it says right in the Torah. Then the Ishmaelim, brought Yosef to Egypt. Reuben, so returned to the pit. Reuben had gone to speak with his father. He came back. He returned to the pit, and behold, Yosef was not in the pit, because the Midianim had already come before the brothers could get to him and sold him to the Ishmaelim that the brothers saw, but they were in the middle of their lunch. They didn't want to take a break to sell Yosef. And so the Midianim beat them to the punch. Yosef is on his way down to Egypt with the Ishmaelim. So Reuben comes back. Yosef was not in the pit. So he rent his garments. He tears kriya. And he returned to his brothers, proof that the brothers were not eating by the pit. And he said, the boy is gone, and where can I go? So the brothers then are discovering this news that Yosef's not in the pit from Reuben, according to Chizkuni. They took Yosef's tunic, and they slaughtered a male of the goats and dipped the tunic in blood. They dispatched the fine woolen tunic, and they brought it to their father, and they said, we have found this. Identify, if you please. Is it your son's tunic or not? Yaakov recognized it and said, my son's tunic, an evil beast devoured him. Yosef has surely been torn to bits. Then Yaakov tore kriya himself and placed sackcloth on his loins. He mourned for his son many days. All his sons and all his daughters rose to comfort him, and he refused to be comforted. And he said, for I will go down to the grave mourning over my son. And his father cried for him. And the Torah then parenthetically emphasizes, now the Midianites had sold him to Egypt, meaning that it wasn't the brothers, it was the Midianim. So to Potiphar, a courtier of Paro, the chamberlain of the butchers. Okay, so what consequence then does this have? That it's not the brothers that sold Yosef, but rather the Midianim. What are we supposed to learn from this? So we're supposed to learn from this, and this is in keeping with what we were saying before about the moral authority of a Jew. That it's not necessarily even the actions that can set off a bad chain of events. Allowing ourselves just to have bad thoughts can do the job. So this interpretation of Chizkuni, according to Reb Leibtag, then puts it on a much higher, much finer level, which actually makes it much more consistent with who these people really are, tzaddikim. So that is the amazing insight of the Chizkuni, that it was not the brothers but the Midianim who sold Yosef into slavery.